welcome back to LA Fishguys Aquarium Tech Talk, Part 3. So, we've already got all the lights set up over the tank. They're all mounted up. We're going to retain that in and do a basic configuration in there, so we can kind of go over how you would set up these lights for the first time. So, assuming you got them all mounted up, you got your power plugged in, they're really not going to do much. The Mitras come with a USB cable, and that USB cable is what you're going to use initially to connect to the lights to get them set up on your network. So what you would do is connect the USB cable to your PC, open up Device Manager on your computer. Oh yeah, and before you do that, you're going to go to aquariumcomputer.com and download the latest version of GHL Control Center, also known as GCC, and that is the software interface that you're going to use to connect to the lights and manage the lights, at least initially. You'll install GCC on your computer, and once you have that set up, then you'll connect your USB cable from your computer to your lights. And I would suggest that before you do that, you open up Device Manager on your computer, plug one end of the cable into the side of the light, plug the other end of the cable into your PC, and when you do that, the computer is going to find a new device, and you're going to watch it show up in Device Manager, and it's going to come up and give you a COM port. It will be listed under COM and LPT ports. And you're going to want that COM port so that you can connect and configure the computer to talk to GHL Mitras, or in this case, we're going to configure the GCC connection for the Mitras. So, assuming you've already done that and you know your COM port, you click on Administrate, you open up GCC, click on Administrate, click New, select Mitra LX7, and select your COM port here that you saw in Device Manager. We'll say COM1, COM3, doesn't really matter. And then you would click Save, and that's going to give you a connection in here. And that connection, click Close here, is also going to show up here. I will also note that when you make that new connection, you can give it a name: Connection 2, Mitra Master, Mitra Slave, etc. So you give it a name, click Save, and close it out, and now your device will be in there. Now, assuming you've got your COM port right, you still have your light connected to it, you'll click on that connection here, double click it, and the computer, and particularly GCC, will then connect to the light. The first thing you want to do is set your computer, or set the light time, and click PC time, and it'll take the time here and save it to the lights. You want to put in your longitude and latitude. That is helpful if you're going to use moon phases and seasonal type of stuff for lighting changes. And then once you've set your time, oh yeah, select your language here, English, Dutch. If you have new firmware, you can update the firmware as well. If you don't have to update the firmware, these have the latest firmware, but once you've got your time and stuff set, click Save Changes, and that'll send the time to the lights. Now the next thing to do is to get it set up for your network. Now most of us have Wi-Fi networks. Now when you log on your phone, through your smartphone or your laptop, and you look for wireless connections, you should know the name of your wireless connection in your house. In my case, it's 2Wire 183. And what you're going to do here, there's a couple ways to connect to the GHL Mitras. You can connect to them over the network, meaning you hook or connect your Mitras to your home network. You can also connect to them point to point, meaning I've got a laptop and I want to use the Mitras as an access point. So they're going to broadcast a Wi-Fi connection that you can then connect to. So you can select client here, or client plus access point. If you select client plus access point, you're going to put in the name of your network, the SSID of your home Wi-Fi network, and the password, and you also select the encryption type. Now most of us are WPA, WPA2, that's your typical network connection. You've got your SSID, your password. If you want this as an access point so you can connect directly to it via Wi-Fi and not have it connected to your network, you can give the Mitra a name to broadcast and a password. In my case, we're just using client. We're not connecting directly to the Mitra as though it's a wireless device. We're connecting to the Mitra over our home network. So set that. If you're using a static IP like I am, you can just use the following settings and type in your IP address, subnet, gateway, DNS, blah blah blah. Or if you're going to use DHCP, where the light gets an IP address from the Wi-Fi network or through your router, you can select obtain IP address automatically. So use the following settings. I also go in and set up myGHL is enabled for full access. We'll talk about that in a minute. But use the following settings. In my case, I'm already got an IP address set up, and click Save Changes. Once you click Save Changes, it's going to try to log into your wireless network. So click Save Changes and then disconnect and give it a few minutes. The GHL Mitra is going to go out and search for your wireless network based on the SSID name that you provided it and try to log into it via the password that you gave it for your wireless network. So you give it a few minutes. Once it'll connect, or once it's connected, which you won't know until you reconnect to it, you'll disconnect, reconnect to it through your USB cable, through your USB connection, go to communication, and down here it'll say current IP address. Assuming that you had everything configured correctly and you waited long enough, it will obtain an IP address for the network. And take note of that IP address. You're going to want to know what that IP address is, because then you can go in and create another connection in here, administrate, new connection, Mitra LX7, you set it for network TCP/IP, and type in the IP address of your GHL Mitras in here, and click Save. And then you will have another connection in here that is TCP/IP for that particular device, and don't forget to name it. Again, you go in here, it's got the name of the connection, give it a name so you know what you're looking at in your list over here. But once you've got that saved, then you can go in and connect to it over Ethernet. So assuming it's connected and everything is hunky-dory, got communication here, it's got an IP address. Now, GHL also has a cloud server. It is called myGHL, and myGHL allows you to administrate and manage and monitor all kinds of GHL devices, whether it's a GHL Profilux, the GHL Mitras, a GHL Doser, all of which can be controlled, managed, and monitored through the GHL cloud server. And that is known as myGHL, and it's available from myghl.com. First thing you want to do there is register. Register an account, get it set up. Once you've registered there, you'll go back into your Mitra LX7, go to Communication, and select myGHL is enabled. Now you have a couple choices. Full access read and write means that I can make changes through myGHL. myGHL is enabled with read only means you can't make any changes from myGHL. Now some people may want to be able to make changes from their smartphone, their tablet, their wireless laptop, from away from home, at home, whatever. If you want to make changes to your lights through myGHL, you'll want to select myGHL is enabled, full access, and it's going to give you a GHL ID and security key there. And those keys are going to be what you'll use to connect to myGHL. So we'll bring up myGHL here, and this is myGHL. And if you go in here, you're a new user, you're not going to have all these devices here. But if you're not, if you're like me, if you're not a new user, or you are a new user and you want to add a new device, you'll copy in the myGHL ID from here and paste it into the myGHL ID here, and then click Verify. It's going to verify that, and then the next part is going to be to connect. And you're going to go over to here and get the security key here. So the security key there, and you're going to paste that into myGHL for the security key. Can't do it, we've already got them set up, and then just click Connect, and the myGHL cloud server is going to establish a connection with your GHL Mitras. So that gives you the ability then to go in and connect through myGHL, and once you've got them set up, kind of looks something like this. A little slow. So this is effectively the cloud connection to the lights. You've got illumination channels here, probably difficult to see, but you've got blue, royal blue, cool white, blue, white, true green, hyper red, sky white, ultraviolet, and hyperviolet. And those are your different channels, and you can click on any one of those channels and give it a schedule. 9 a.m. it's at 0 brightness, 10 a.m. 5%, 1 p.m. 40%, 5 p.m. 40%, 8 p.m. 5%, and 9 p.m. 0%. So that's a nice ramp up, ramp down of that channel. And again, there are 9 channels. Now, that is not how we're going to program these lights. We'll get into that next. So stay tuned for the next part where we cover setting up, or rather programming your lights in GCC.
GHL is widely recognized for the most reliable and future-proof aquarium controllers, dosers, and aquarium LED lighting on the market. Designed and manufactured in Germany, all GHL products are built with the highest quality and standards. The GHL Profilux 4 raises the bar to a whole new level. Featuring built-in Wi-Fi, the Profilux 4 can be connected to your network wirelessly and be monitored and controlled from anywhere. With integrated ports for temperature, pH, ORP, conductivity, and dissolved oxygen, you can monitor virtually anything. Built-in expansion ports and optional flow sensors allow the Profilux 4 to scale to meet the needs of even the most advanced aquarium installations without the need for additional add-on modules. The new GHL Doser 2.1 takes dosing to the extreme with integrated Wi-Fi for wireless management. It includes inputs for level sensors, a temperature probe, and an output for a magnetic stirrer, making it an ideal solution for everything from dosing, automatic top-off, automated water changes, and even automated feeding. The GHL Mitras are the most powerful and flexible LEDs in their class. The 7206's built-in wireless control makes for fast and easy setup, while the GHL Light Composer allows users to easily set up their spectrum and lighting schedule. 6 individual LED clusters provide the industry's best blending of LED channels while also providing the best spread. 9 channels of control allow you to tailor your lighting scheme to meet the needs of even the most difficult to keep corals, while also bringing out colors in corals and fish that would otherwise remain unseen. All GHL products can be controlled via the GHL Control Center application, as well as the myGHL cloud interface, allowing for monitoring, control, and management from anywhere via an internet connection. The unique interface eliminates the need for coding while providing advanced programming functionality unrivaled by the competition. If you're looking for the best controllers, dosers, and lighting on the market, then GHL has a product to fit your needs. For more information, visit aquariumcomputer.com. Reef Hobbyist Magazine believes that our hobby, our fellow hobbyists, and the animals in our care are best served by the free distribution of quality information. Reef Hobbyist Magazine provides hobbyists with critical husbandry information with an emphasis on marine ornamental breeding efforts. Reef Hobbyist Magazine is available for free in local fish stores across the country, or you can subscribe at www.reefhobbyistmagazine.com. Aquarium LED Mounts manufactures revolutionary articulating mounts for the most popular LED fixtures and pendants. Their unique patent-pending design allows for full articulation of the light. You can rotate the fixture 360 degrees while also tilting it in any direction in order to maximize coverage while reducing shadowing and light bleed onto the viewing panels. They are designed to be used in conjunction with canopies, light racks, and light bars, but can also be adapted for use with light mount arms. The kit includes all the hardware needed to attach to your favorite LED fixtures. Aquarium LED Mounts offers articulating mounts for many popular fixtures, such as the GHL Mitras LX series, Kessel 350, Kessel 360, and AP700 fixtures, as well as Ecotech's Radion, AI Hydra 52, and AI Soul fixtures. Custom mounting adapters for other fixtures can be produced upon request. For more information, check out aquariumledmounts.com.
All right, so welcome back. So we've got our lights connected to the network. We've connected our lights to myGHL cloud. We're back in GCC and we're connected to our light. The next step is setting up your light profile, or your ramp up, ramp down, and in this case we're going to do a project. And a project basically is a file that you use to load your lights, and it's a great way to make changes along the way and be able to share your files. One unique feature is that this creates project files, and people in the GHL community will actually share their project files. So somebody may have a great tank running off of GHL Mitras, and you want to use their project. You can actually take that project and load it right in and save it to your lights. So we're going to show you how you use projects in here. In the screen here, click on illumination and go to Light Composer. Now, Light Composer, you can load standard project files, which would basically be a template, or you can load your own project or an empty project. Empty project would be creating a new project. Now, I've already got a project here that's set up, so we're just going to click on that and open it up. Now, if you look at this project here, right now we've got several times set up. 9 a.m. is when my lights start to turn on, and 9 p.m. is when they start to turn off, or is when they actually are finally off. So I've got a 12-hour photo period. And I've set up different time points, and you can add new time points simply by clicking New and setting the time that you want that point at. See time in here, and then you can set your individual channels for that particular time period. So if we go in, let's just take a look at 1 p.m. 1 p.m., that is when my lights hit their peak intensity. And right now we've got 9 channels in here. So what we can do, we're not going to change anything, but we'll set this to output directly to lights. I can go in here and raise or lower. Jim, why don't you turn around and you can focus in on the tank, and we can see what this does. We've got 9 channels in here, and the first channel here is one of the blue channels. Here I can increase the blue channel or decrease the blue channel. And you can see what that does to the coloration of the tank. Now we'll just turn all of those lights up to 100%, and we can see what that looks like. We're going to light it up like Dodger Stadium right now. That is all lights at 100%. As you can see, that is really bright. Now we're never going to run it that high, but that is all lights at 100%. It's just quite a bit. Click cancel and go back to our program that we have here. But that gives you a pretty good idea of what it's like. And there is something else that I do want to show you. These lights have a couple of different settings. They've got an energy efficient setting. They've got a high output setting. And if you go in here to energy options, this is where you can set the mode. Right now I've got them set for high output, but if you put them in high efficiency, the peak intensity that these lights will ever be able to go to is 100 or is 80%. Now, high efficiency, you're at 80, but if you go to high output, you can actually overdrive channels. If, for example, I've got one channel at 70%, I can actually take another channel to 130%. And behind there, you hear the horse in the background. So we're at high output right now. You can set your maximum output for channels at 100%, 130%. You can set the max temperature for the lights in high output mode. The max you want to go is about 60 C. And the fan speed you can set for 60% or 100%. I set the fans to 100%. They're not really noisy at any speed, but because I've got this thing enclosed in the lighting socket, I'll never hear them anyways. But the fans are really quiet. Got my fan speed set at 100%. And this basically tells you what each channel here can go to. Now I said that you can set things to overdrive a channel, so I can go in here to my blue channel, for example, and adjust it and tell it I want it to go to 130%. And again, while the power supply is only 195 watts, it allows you to use the entire 195 watts even if you have other channels under 100%. So if I've got one channel at 70%, I can take another channel to 130% to use all the available power within the fixture. We're going to go back out of here, and that's basically the power option settings. So again, we're in high output mode as opposed to high efficiency mode. Go back to Light Composer here. We're back in our project. And so we've got different time points here. I've got 9 o'clock, which is when my lights come on, and at 9 a.m. everything is set to 0%. 10 a.m. is my next time point, and this is where things start to ramp up. And I have my white channel is set to 5%. You probably can't see it, but the white channel is set to 5% at 10 a.m. My royal blue channel is set to 20%. My white channel is set to 2%. And let's see, the Osram, which is kind of a white channel, is set to 2%. True green, which is going to really not give me anything for coral growth, but it kind of helps give the coral some color. That's also set to, well, that's set to 3%. Red is set to 3%. White 7500K is set to 0%. Ultraviolet is set to 4%. And hyperviolet is set to 20%. Basically, by 10 a.m., things are starting to ramp up. It's going to give me a very deep blue. Now, if I go to 8 p.m., I have the same kind of curve: 5%, 20%, 2%, 2%, 3%, and so on and so forth. My 8 p.m. setting matches my 10 a.m. setting, so that basically I'm in the ramp down at 8 p.m. and all the way to off at 9 p.m. Hopefully that's making sense. So again, we can make adjustments to each one of these channels for each point in time. And it also tells you in here what the expected Kelvin range is for that setting. Estimated light color of this mixture is 19,230 Kelvin. Now if we go to 1 p.m., which is my peak lighting, the estimated temperature, color temperature, is 15,950 K. So that's a little bit wider of a light than what I would be seeing at 9 or at 10 a.m. or 8 p.m. So if I want to make changes to my intensity, which I'm going to want to do here, I can see exactly what they're going to look like by outputting directly to lamp and making my changes here. We're going to bring our blue up to 50%. We're going to bring our royal blue up to 50%. Now, I mentioned earlier that corals get most of their photosynthetic radiation from around 420 to 460 nanometer wavelength. That is where most of the usable radiation that corals use for growth comes from. That's that blue spectrum. And if you look here, there's a graph. This kind of shows you what spectral peak looks like. Now, if you go do some Google and you look up best lighting for corals, there's some articles out there. Advanced Aquarius has done some where they actually show some of the spectral curves that were measured on reefs around the globe. And it's interesting to go in there and look at those curves, and you can actually take a picture of that curve and mimic that lighting, that spectrum curve, by using the light composer in here. So we've got this set to 50%. We'll bring our whites up a little bit more. We'll make that 30%. Drag them up. Let's run what we've got there. We'll bring our green up to 20%. I also want to let you know that if you put too much red in here, you will end up growing nuisance algae. I keep my reds really on the low side. You also need to be careful with UV. The UV spectrum is a very powerful spectrum, so you want to be careful with that as well. We're going to move our red channel up to 15, make that 18%. Now, unfortunately, Jim is looking the other direction, but looking at the tank, these changes that I'm making here can actually be seen on the tank. Percent UV. And our violet. And 50. So now now, if you look at the tank, we've made some changes. And you can certainly see that colors tend to pop. The tank is glowing. Now I can go in there and make more changes, increase the whites if I want, increase the blues, increase the overall intensity. But as I said before, corals in here are very well established, and we've introduced a new light there, and we need to be very careful as we introduce new light so as to not shock the corals. So while I've made these changes here, I'm not going to apply these changes to the tank right now, because over the course of the next week or so, I'm going to slowly bring up the intensity on these lights, and I'm going to slowly decrease the intensity on my Kessels, and I'm going to continue to do that over the next 30 to 45 days as I acclimate the corals to the new lights and eventually wean myself off the Kessels pretty much entirely. But what we'll do now, we've kind of gone over that. I think I've given you a pretty good idea of what to do there. Of course, you want to make sure that you save or apply your changes as you're going along. We'll take a walk around the tank and kind of just take a look at what things look like under the new lights. And you can see now, obviously, the video camera is probably not depicting the colors that we're actually seeing here. It tends to look a lot more blue, but from what we can see, the reds are really kind of popping. There's more purple visible. Right now the lights are not up anywhere near full power, not even close, but I can see we're getting pretty good coverage. From what I could tell, I'll probably need to raise my light rack a little bit to get better spread, or make some adjustments to the angle of the lights up there, which is the beauty of the articulating mounts. I can make some adjustments and get better spread over here or on the sides. But hopefully you're seeing, you know, the good natural colors. But the reds are better, the greens, the purples, things just tend to pop a little bit more. And I'm sure that as I play with these lights more and make some more fine adjustments, I'll really be able to bring out colors in the corals that you wouldn't otherwise see under a more 2-channel, 3-channel type of lighting, where we're only able to control the blues and the whites. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned something. If you're looking at new LEDs, certainly give the GHL Mitra LX7s a look. They're very powerful, they have great spread, and I'm excited to have them over my tank. And we'll certainly look forward to giving you updates in the future as well. But again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed LA Fishguys Aquarium Tech Talk, and we'll look forward to talking to you in the future.